Hi viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am making videos on Java programming language and frameworks. Please do subscribe, like and share for more videos. And please support us. Thank you. Constructor in Java. What is constructor? Constructor is a set of code and it looks like a method, Java method, and it returns nothing. And when it gets called at the time of object is created, constructor will get automatically gets called. So no need to call the constructor explicitly and no need of calling the constructor manually. Okay. So here why we are using a constructor means which we constructor are used to initialize the objects. Here two types of constructors are there, default constructor or non-arg constructor, and second one is parameterizer constructor. So what is default constructor? If you want to initialize the default values to the object, we can go for a default constructor and it will not accept any parameters. What is default values? For example, if you have a requirement whenever we are creating any class or object, you need some default initializing values. At that time, you can use the default constructor. This is the syntax for default constructor. Public, this is access specifier, and we are going to call this outside of the class, right? So it must be public. And next, constructor name. What is constructor name? Class name, we have to take it as a constructor name. And next, followed by a pair of parentheses which will accept arguments or non-arguments, and followed by a pair of curly braces. Here we can initialize the default values to the variables which are present in the class at the time of object is created. And please remember, no need to call the constructor manually. It gets called automatically at the time of object is created. So this is the default constructor syntax. We'll have a example, programming example here. This is the clear console. Okay, just we'll discuss only default constructor now here. Here employee class is there. Employee class is having what are the properties? Can you observe here? Two variables are there, and next one constructor is there. How can I identify it's a constructor? It looks like a method, and here the constructor name is same as class name, and this constructor is not returning anything. Here you can't see any void, int and float, whatever cursor point I have pointed here. Okay, there is no return type to the constructor. It is a special type of method. And next, default value I want to give as a 21 because for employee default working days in a month is 21. So I just want to initialize the 21 as the default value. So I want to initialize the value at the time of object is created. Okay, and I want to print some simple message. This is a default constructor. Just want to know the compiler enters into the constructor or not. Just for testing purpose, I added a simple message. And next here, coming to main method, I am creating the object here. Where is the exact constructor calling? If you observe this statement, class name d1 is equal to new class name followed by a pair of parentheses. This is called a constructor calling. This is the exact constructor calling statement. If you observe, the pair of parentheses are empty. That means default constructor. The compiler will go at the time of object is created. If the programmer implemented the default constructor, it will go and execute here first. It will execute here first. Okay. This is the way default constructor gets called at the time of object is created. And next I am just printing the working days. Okay. And next d1 dot display. Let me run this. Yeah, it successfully entered into the default constructor. This is default constructor. It is printing here. And next, working days default value 21 is printing. And next, display method I am calling. If you observe here, working days is a 21 and the leaves is 0. Okay, yeah, that is the default value. Okay. So, for example, I don't give programmer is not implementing the default constructor. It's not a mandatory. Okay. So, see here, there is no errors if we comment the default constructor also. What will happen? If the programmer is not implementing the or is not providing any body to the default constructor, compiler will create the default constructor and will initialize the default values to the variables in the class. Okay, so what is the expected output here? D1 dot working days means obviously it is a 0, as we all know that what are the different default values for the different data types. Let's see here. For integer variable, the default value is 0. For float variable, data type variable values, 0.0 is the default value. And a string, it is a object, the default value is null. Who are giving? Compiler is giving. Okay. Now we'll see the execution. Okay. So there is no default constructor. Just simply it is showing 0. And working days is 0 and values of leaves is 0. Okay, this is how default constructor will work. And next I will go to the parameterizer constructor. Here is the syntax. Parameterizer constructor, public followed by a constructor name which is the same as a class name. Next followed by a number of parameters list. This is a parameters list. Okay, 1 or 2 more, anything. Okay. And next followed by a initializing statements. That's it. And close the curly braces. We'll have a example here. I am implementing the parameterized constructor here. Into x comma y, 2 parameters I am sending. And next, just want to print this is a parameterized constructor, and whatever incoming parameters x and y are there, right? So I am just initializing x value into the working days and y value initializing it into the leaves. Now how we have to call this parameterized constructor at the time of object is creating? We will create one object. Here we go. Employee B2 is equal to new employee of 20 comma 3. Okay. So here how many parameters I am passing? 2. Why? Because I have a 2 parameterized constructor is present in my class. What if we pass single parameter while creating the constructor? It will not accept. It will throw a compilation error, because compiler will go and search, is there any single parameterized constructor is present in the class? No. So it will return the error, compile time error. We have to compare the number of parameters which we have the constructor is present in our class. And d2.display. And here this is the exact step constructor calling at the time of object is created. Now it will go and execute the set of statements and come back here, and d2.display, this is the remaining part to execute, and it will execute this statement and it will exit the program. Okay, so from here we can discuss, we already discussed the default constructor just 2 minutes ago. Okay, so this is the parameterized constructor. What it is printing? 3 statements are executing. Okay, 1, 2 and 3. 3 statements are completely executed. Initialization is done. Next, d2.display. System.out.println working days and leaves we are printing 20. How many, whatever values we assign, those are printing here.